If you've played Deepwoken since release, you probably know that this game has one of maybe even the best and worst PvE experiences as a new player. Walking around Eresia and the shark spawns on you. You and your friends are running away from it, but one of them still dies. It was really fun. I miss those days. But eventually, once you get a bit better, not even good at the game, you realize that the PvE isn't actually hard. No normal monster is a challenge in the sense of it being a complex fight. To be fair though, we are heading in the right direction, with the Gauntlet trial having the really nice Owl boss fight and even the special Lionfish X Sharko collab. Then came the most anticipated update since Layer 2, World Events.
Bro, you doing, bro?
Get me away!
I'm doomed!
When they released, everybody thought we were about to get one of the most exciting fights in this game, just for it to be a bit of a disappointment. Once the hype wore off, people realized that the bosses weren't actually that hard. What we thought World Events was supposed to be ended up as another forgotten boss, with videos left and right popping up, soloing the entire verse. Still, World bosses open the door for many possibilities with boss fights like the Heart of Enmity. So now, the real question, is Deepwoken's PvE too easy? Short answer, yes. Alright guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video and nah, I'm trolling, but it is easy. When's the last time you came across a mob and said, wow, this is actually so hard to fight, I might genuinely die because I'm getting outskilled? Or is it more like, this is so boring, it's just the same one attack but it has 40k HP? But anyway, I'm not here just to complain, even though I wish I was. I might as well give some fresh ideas. So, let's start with the big next update, Vow of Iron. On paper, the idea sounds extremely solid. If you've ever played Terraria, I think the Iron Vow will basically be the hard mode of Deepwoken. From what Reg said, it will give us new challenges and ways to play the game through unique mechanics specific to the Vow of Iron. They also mentioned how the PvE will be different, special mobs tied to the mode and already existing mobs having harder and better patterns on their attacks with improved AI. I can't wait to fight a Sharko when he starts adapting to my attacks and just parries everything. Honestly, I think that's how the game should be overall, but maybe keeping a casual version and a hardcore version of Deepwoken separated might be better for the health of the game. In my eyes, Vow of Iron will save the game. However, here's the thing, all bosses like Ferryman and Duke don't really feel like bosses anymore. I have a harder time fighting the Trial of One Angels than I have fighting Ferryman. They are way too outdated. And because of that, most of the old bosses need a rework. You can't call yourself one of the main bosses, but then a Songseeker NPC has more moves than you. Like, tell me how the Ferryman in Phase 1 and 2 has the same amount of attacks as the Thunder Songseeker. That just doesn't make sense. Of course, there's one big issue with this idea. As good as it is, it's even more time consuming. Coming up with new ideas to revamp the old bosses is a challenge on its own, but then actually taking the time to develop it will take even longer. So personally, once they finish Vow of Iron, I think it's a better idea to revamp some of the old fights and make them fresher in a way than to start working on ship modules. Like, what even is that? A good case of this revamp is Elder Prima. Agamatsu, in my opinion, made such a good job with that. He is one of the most fun boss fights I've had in a while. The way you actually have to think against him makes me really happy to see that it is possible to do. Team fating makes it even more complex, leading you to actually focus on the fight. Also, the small details that help you differentiate his almost similar looking attacks is a nice touch overall, and I want to see this more often. Now, this might make some people mad, but I think that the most meta PvE builds are so boring and they kind of ruin the aspect of playing PvE. I've never seen so much creativity lead to such uncreative gameplay. Guys like Skipper Gripper spend hours theorizing on a build just for it to be M1 based. So all you do is hold click. And in some way, this PvE builds are mandatory thing has kind of gone away with the addition of the bestiary and removing DVM from equipment entirely. I'm a fan of that because being forced to have a different set of equipment was annoying. But at the same time, I can see why some people were mad. After all, they removed the sole thing PvE players were grinding for, the most amount of DVM possible. So that ruined the grind a bit, but overall it benefited everyone. On the topic of DVM, what I think would be something cool is adding specific PvE weapons. Imagine having a dagger that does bonus damage to, I don't know, enemies in the Void Sea, or a medium weapon that does more damage to sea-related creature. Adding these types of weapons will make PvE feel unique, making some bosses have a weakness to a weapon you get from, let's say, another boss. Obviously, these examples are pretty bad, I just made them on the spot, but you catch my drift. What I'm trying to say is that there needs to be something to grind for in PvE. As of now, doing it is solely for the purpose of getting the new shit. It's pretty boring. After I get the new stuff, I just never touch PvE again. Meanwhile, specific rewards on bosses or monsters would keep them relevant longer. Titus does that. That's where you get the set for the Thunder Gale talents and the new gems as well, like the Aegis gem, Warp gem, and vice versa. And finally, if you skipped all the way here, you're pretty smart, because I'm about to summarize everything quickly. We are heading in the right direction with stuff like Elder Primo, the Gauntlet Owl, and the whole Vow of Iron idea. But the game still needs fresher boss mechanics, smarter mobs, and actually rewards that make PvE worth doing again. If you have any crazy ideas, please share them in the comments, and if I see anything that's remotely close to being good, who knows, might share them forwards. With everything being said, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you in the next one.